Okay, so this is my Ancestry DNA kit, and I'm talking quiet because I'm at work, and I'm here all by myself. So, I have a half-brother that was born in 1968. I'm hoping he also did this DNA kit, and I'm hoping I can find him. Anyway, activate kit online, safe and secure. Gather DNA. Alright. Do not skip this step. You cannot get your results unless you activate your test. Go to ancestrydna.com/activate. Okay. ancestrydna.com/activate. Don't have an account? Get a free account now. Lord. This is already associated. Who knew I did it already? I didn't know. Okay. Enter the 15-digit activation code from the collection tube. Enter it where? Become a member, build a family tree. Where do I enter the 15-digit code at? Hello, Michelle. What? Freilich comes from Austria? Activate a test. Yes! Collection bag. Here's a tube. Here's a box to mail it in. Hard to hold a phone and do this at the same time. Okay, here, let me enter my code. Where do I do that at? Continue as Michelle Freilich. Me. Me. Next. Okay. H, T, Z. How is it an invalid code? Oh, that's not a T. Damn it. You're gonna make me type the whole damn thing again. 9M, 2B, 9B, 7T, 5R, 3Z. Oh. 1 year after my brother, I am a female. Next. Please review. Identify potential relatives. That's what I want. I consent. Next. Research conducted. I have read. What am I giving consent to? Research conducted by us and our collaborators to advance the study of genetics. I guess. Yes. I would like to see my DNA matches. Show my complete, I don't care. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Really? Don't make it easy. Okay, now what? I'm all set. I'm all set. Okay, now what? Okay. We did this. We entered the 15-digit code. Now, fill tube with saliva to black wavy line. That's a lot of spit. Do not overfill. Replace the funnel with the cap. Tighten to release stabilizing fluid. Shake the tube for 5 seconds. Place the tube in the collection bag and mail in your sample. Easy peasy. Black wavy line. That's disgusting. I'm dehydrated. I don't have that much spit. This is gross. Still. Okay, see, the bubbles don't count. Am I there? I'm there. Okay. And then I put, what's this blue stuff? that off. And put this on. This is crazy. I need a stand for my phone. Tighten it. Okay, now. Fill tube with saliva. Replace the funnel with the cap. Tighten to release. I'm going to put the phone down for just a minute. Look. It released the blue stuff on top. Cool. Okay. Tighten to release, stabilize, and shake the tube for at least 5 seconds. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. Place the tube in the bag. Hold on, I gotta set the phone down a minute. You gotta remove adhesive. Dun dun dun. How the F do I get it in here? Uh-huh. Dun dun dun. Stay. No postage necessary. Okay, I am very excited about this. I just spit a lot of spit into a tube. But I have an older brother. My mom married my dad in February of 1968. My sister and I figured out that she's pregnant in that picture. My mom told me when I got pregnant with Brittany, you know, because I was saying something stupid like I wanted to commit suicide and not deal with this or something. And she was like, no, because as I've been through it, you can do this if I could do it. And I got a few details about it. And later on my sister found out. And my brother doesn't know. My mom won't talk about it. It is traumatic. It is a really sad story, but she was raised Mormon, and the Mormons had a church program in 1968 where if a teenager got pregnant, there were places in Arizona and Utah and places out west you could go to have your baby. And then the baby would be adopted out, and that's what happened to her. They shipped her off. She had a boyfriend. They called him, they being my grandparents, called him, my dad, asked him to marry my mom. And he loved her, so he did. I don't know how she felt about him. I don't know if she wanted to marry him. I don't know. They were married for 22 years, though. But, she had a little boy. Did she get to hold him? What would she have named him if she could have kept him? Did she want to keep him? Given the option, would she have chosen what she chose? I don't think so, because I remember her telling me she felt like she was auctioned like a cow. But she won't talk about it. And if she knew that me and my sister were trying to find him, I don't know. I don't know what her reaction would be. I don't know if she'd want to meet him. Wouldn't that be hard on him if she didn't? That would be like a double whammy rejection. But, brother, she didn't mean to reject you. She was forced to. But anyway, I'm going to get this in the mail, and I hope you, brother, have done the same. That your DNA is already there, and that it matches mine, and they contact me. That would be so exciting. My sister Monica did the same thing with 23andMe, and there was no match. But maybe he went through Ancestry DNA. And that's where we'll leave it. Bye. Okay, so to document this journey, I sent off my Ancestry DNA saliva sample, and it prompted me to go to these websites. And anyway, then I got to thinking about my half-brother I'm trying to find. And I do this every few months, where I'll watch Long Lost Family or other family reuniting adoption kind of videos on YouTube. And anyway, so I did some internet searches, and I do this every few months. Well, I found this one called Adoption Database. I had already joined adopted.com, and anyway, I found this website called Adoption Database Quick something. Anyway, and I just filled out the form, and at the end of it, it said, well, there was a $10 registration fee, which I filled out yesterday afternoon, but I couldn't get it to take my payment. So I tried again this morning, and I included my sister in on this registration for this adopteddatabase.com. And anyway, she gets a call today. She is on the way to or from the temple in Birmingham. She has her 20-year-old son, Zach, my nephew, with her. They've been to the temple, or they're going to the temple, I'm not sure which. She has Bluetooth in her car. So she answers this phone call, and she says, my name is so-and-so from Adoption Database. I have your information, and I'm calling you because I'm needing more information to start your search. And Monica's like, what are you talking about? I hadn't had time to tell her I did this to her. I hadn't involved her in this. She didn't even know I did an Ancestry DNA test. She didn't know how often I Google search for him, or how often I think about it. We talk about it all the time, but you know, she doesn't know, I guess, how serious I am about it. So anyway, yeah, she gets this call. Well, the problem is, not only is she shocked, her son doesn't know anything about my mom's accidental pregnancy at 18 years old. Surprise! I said, oh, Monica, I feel so terrible. I'm so sorry. I said, I'm so glad your whole family wasn't in your van. I mean, they should probably all know at some point, against my mother's will, but I don't think that's the way to tell everybody. So I just felt terrible, and I apologized profusely, and I was like, look, but the funny part is, you know, I take her call at work, and she goes, hey, and I said, hey, and she goes, what have you been doing? What have you been up to? And I said, oh, I'm just working. She's like, no, what have you been up to? And then she explained, I got a call from Adoption Database. I was like, oh. Anyway, the reason they called Monica and not me is because their payment thing didn't work right. Their form didn't work right. It took part of my phone number, but not the whole thing. It cut off a lot of things in my submission. And anyway, but I did read on there that they have research angels, is what they call them. that help you research your loved one. And yeah. So I guess they're a legit place and they seriously try to help. So we'll see what happens. We might find my long lost half brother. I'm so excited on the one hand, and on the other hand I'm terrified because my mom, oh my gosh, I'm scared. She's gonna be hurt. She's gonna be disappointed. I don't know, disappointed. She's gonna feel betrayed. She's gonna feel betrayed. And I feel terrible, but not terrible enough not to do it, because my desire to find him trumps that. So I pray a lot that we will find him someday. I pray for him all the time. I just feel like I know he had a good life. I told Monica today that I feel like he probably was raised Mormon. Maybe in a family where he had lots of siblings. Some adopted, some not. You know, one of those kind of cool families. And that he was raised Mormon, so he's been on a mission. He's married in the temple, got about 6 kids that are in high school or serving missions themselves. He's the first counselor in his ward's bishopric. You know, he's just an all-around great Mormon guy. Maybe he doesn't even know he's adopted. You know, maybe he doesn't even know. But anyway, it's interesting. I was going to say something else, and I forgot. I don't remember. But anyway, that's just the latest. My sister unwittingly, and I, she did a 23andMe DNA test and it didn't show any close relatives. And I am several weeks out from getting the results of mine. He, of course, would have had to participate in that for him to show up on my test. And then we got these researchers possibly working on it. Anyway, I wonder, I was really close to my grandma Allen, and I wonder sometimes what her thoughts were about that situation. I know my grandfather was very staunch and very sure that was the right, and back then it was the right thing to do. I wasn't morally, but for society's expectations, it was the thing to do. It was the way to handle that situation. So, I try not to be angry with him or fault him for that. And his wife was very meek, mild, sweet, and submissive, and she would have just, I just don't think she would have said, I don't feel that's the right thing to do. She was also a very strong follower of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and that's their protocol for handling that situation. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to say. I was doing this reading about the LDS Family Services, which back then was called LDS Social Services, and I read one thing that said how hard it is to get a non-ID form when you're trying to research your adopted out loved one. It's really hard to get because the church does not support or promote or encourage reunions. They don't. They didn't back then, and they don't still, which I found surprising. And also, they still to this day in 2018 highly encourage young unwed mothers to put their babies up for adoption through the LDS Family Services. They still highly promote that. So if my daughter, if my family was active in church and my daughter got pregnant and she went to the bishop, that would be his advice. That would be his counsel. When I got pregnant at 18 years old, just like my mother, unwed and scared, just like my mother, this is when she told me what happened to her. And she wasn't about to allow that to happen to me. She didn't suggest anything like that. And I could not have raised Brittany at 18 years old without her. I was not ready to be on my own, and I could not have done it without her. And she provided the support and the love. And she was very close to her granddaughter. I made her a granddaughter at 30. I made her a grandma at 37 years old. And I guess she did the same to her mother. And then Monica and I were talking. Okay, so my mom admitted that she's pregnant to my sister. My sister asked her. So my mom admitted that she was pregnant in her wedding pictures with my dad. And it never dawned on me before Monica told me that all the pictures are from the chest up. There are no full body shots of my mother that I recall. She was probably showing. I don't know how far along she was, but she got married in February of 1968. So let's say she was 6 months pregnant. He was born a few months after that. So what? Let's say she's 6 months in February, March, April, May. Let's say he was born in May of 1968. She got pregnant with me in October, because I was born in July, October, November. I was born July 23rd. So 9 months before my birth, she got pregnant again. I mean, like, she had a baby, and a few months later, she was pregnant again. It never dawned on me how close we are in age, and how physically exhausting and draining. I don't know. When I look at pictures of them and I hear stories of their early married life, I think she was facing it with a strong front, but I don't know how she really felt about her marriage. I think she cared about him, but having not gotten pregnant, I don't know if she would have married him. I don't know. So then I think, well, maybe deep inside, she's terribly unhappy and didn't want to be in the situation she was in. So to have a baby that she can actually keep would be a comfort during that hard time. I don't know. She won't talk about it. And I will be honest, I have not tried to talk to her about it in a long, long, long time. I just know it hurts her. And I don't like to keep bringing up the past and hurting her. But if these research people find him, if he wants to be found, see, that's just it. He has to have put in an inquiry too. I guess that's not true though. If he's never searched for his birth family, and then they find the adoption records, which I don't think it's easy to do. I don't think the LDS Family Services gives out that information very easily. But let's just say that somehow, some way, they hack into the system maybe, and they find him, they would find his parents' information and contact them, maybe, and say, yo, so-and-so's birth family is looking for him. And maybe the birth family would be like, no, we never told him he was adopted. Or maybe they have some way of finding him. It's probably less difficult with a man. If you were looking for me, my name has changed 4 or 5 times. Anyway, I don't know, so many thoughts. So that's just an update, and I guess that's where we are now. Bye.